everybody and welcome back to another video. So as promised in Monday's lesson, here are the answers. So pause the video here and go through your questions from Monday's lesson. Give yourself a tick or a dot if you need to go back through and just double check where you made your mistakes. That's absolutely fine. And then join me again for this lesson. Hello everyone and welcome back to another maths lesson. So today's maths lesson is a follow-on from Monday's maths lesson. So if you haven't yet watched that one, I suggest maybe going and watching that one first and then come in and joining me back here. So in today's video, we are going to be learning about equivalent fractions. Just pause the video here and have a think about what an equivalent fraction is. So equivalent fractions are fractions that look different, but in actual fact, they equal exactly the same amount. So for example, if we had, I'm going to draw two pizzas on the board. One pizza is cut into two equal parts. And the other pizza is going to be cut into 4 equal parts. This pizza, I'm going to eat half of that pizza. Have a think about what that fraction looks like. Half. And over here, my friend is going to eat 2/4 of that pizza. Okay, so I have eaten half and my friend has eaten 2/4 of this pizza. Your task at home is to draw these two pizzas out exactly like I have, and I want you to shade in from this pizza how much I've eaten, and I would like you to shade in the amount that my friend's eaten from this pizza. Who's eaten the most? So let's do this together to find out who's eaten the most. You may have discovered something. So I have eaten 1/2, so one section of the two pieces. So that's how much I've eaten. Okay, let's go over to my friend. So my friend has eaten 2 parts of the 4 pieces. Who's eaten the most? Neither of us, we've eaten exactly the same, and this is what an equivalent fraction is. So we've got half and we've got 2/4, but in actual fact, they are both the same amount. The two fractions just look different, that's all. And there's a lot of fractions that are equivalent to one another. So they are exactly the same, but they just look different. So we're going to do a few more of these type of pizza eating scenarios together first, and then we're going to work out how to find the equivalent fraction. So a few more of these and then we're going to find out how to make the equivalent fraction, and then it's up to you guys at home to answer the questions. So just like the last task, I have drawn 2 pizzas on the board. This time I have eaten 2/4 of my pizza. So I've eaten 2 parts of my 4 pieces. My friend, however, has eaten 4 parts of 8 pieces. Draw them on your piece of paper, figure out who's eaten the most, or have we eaten the same? So let's work it out, shall we? So I've eaten 2 parts of my 4 pieces. That means 1 part's gone, 2 parts gone. Okay, so 2/4 was also equivalent to 1/2. Good, well done if you noticed that. Now my friend, she's eaten 4 parts of her 8 pieces. So I'm going to shade in 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we notice? Good, we have both eaten the same again. My friend's eaten half of her pizza, although it looks a bit different and it's swizzled round a little bit. And I've also eaten half of my pizza as well. So these two fractions are in fact equivalent. So they are the same So they're the same amount, but they just look a little bit different. Okay, one more like this. And you guys at home are going to be the detectives to see who has eaten the most pizza. So this time there are 3 of us. So there's me, there's my friend, and then there's my sister. 3 of us have now eaten pizza. I have eaten 1/3 of my pizza. My friend has eaten 3/6 of her pizza. And my sister has eaten 2/6 of her pizza. I want you at home this time, okay, to find out who has eaten the most, because somebody has definitely eaten more than the other 2. And then I want you to find out which 2 people had eaten the same amount of pizza. So there are 2 fractions that are equivalent, so are the same here. It's your job to find them out at home. Let's go through these then. So I have eaten, so this is me. I have eaten 1 piece of my 3 pieces. So I'm going to shade in this bit. And then my friend, so I'll put friend here. My friend has eaten 3 bits of her 6 pieces. So she's eaten 3 bits. 1, 2, 3. What do we notice about that fraction? Good, that one is equivalent to a half. So 3/6 is equal to a half. How else might you have spotted that that was the same as a half? Brownie points if you spotted this. So this is the same as a half. 3 is half of 6, isn't it? 3 is half of 6. And that rule stays the same when we're looking at fractions, okay? So all fractions that are equivalent to a half, the numerator, so the number on top, will be half of the denominator. So the number on the top, so the numerator will always be half of the denominator. Remember that, because you might need that a little bit later on. Now moving on to my sister. My sister's only eaten 2 parts of her 6 pieces. So I'm going to cut. First question, who has eaten the most? Who's eaten the most? Good, my friend has eaten the most because she has eaten half of her pizza. So half of her pizza's gone. Who are the 2 people that had the equivalent fractions then? So the fractions that were the same but looked a bit different. Same amount but looked a bit different. Good, me and my sister. So this is my sister down here. Right, let's start looking at fractions with less drawings now, because when we are looking at equivalent fractions, there is actually a rule. If you can spot this at home, then a massive brownie point for you. I'm just going to write some equivalent fractions on the board, and I want you to have a look at what you notice. There you go, I have drawn some equivalent fractions on the board. So this little arrow in the middle here means that they are the same amount, but they just look different. Okay, so if we were to draw these 2 fractions in a pizza, the same amount of pizza or of the shape would be shaded in. So at the top we've got half, and then we've got 3/6. Have a look at them and see if you can notice the pattern. Bonus point if you've already spotted it, that is fantastic. If you haven't spotted it, that's absolutely fine. That's the whole reason you're here, because you're here to learn. We look at this one here. What have we done to the denominator? What have we done to the denominator to get it from 2 to 6? I'll give you a hint, we've times it by something. What have we times it by? What have we multiplied 2 by to get 6? Good, we've multiplied it by 3. Well done if you got that. So 2 times 3 equals 6. What do you think we now need to do to the top? We need to do exactly the same. Well done. So 1 times 3. 1 times 3 is 3. So whatever you do to the bottom, so whatever you multiply the bottom by, you need to multiply the top by as well. In a minute, I'm going to put some on the board and I'm going to be covering up part of the fraction, and it's your job to find out what that is at home. Let's just double check that that rule is the same for the bottom one. So 3, what have we times 3 by to get to 6? 2. 3 times 2 equals 6. Good, we've just made it 2 times bigger. So what do we need to do to the numerator at the top? We need to times it by 2. And is that rule correct as well? 1 times 2 equals 2. Look at that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. If you're currently watching this and thinking, Miss Rowney, what on earth is you talking about? I haven't got a clue. Maybe just ask a parent or a guardian or somebody who is around you just to watch this part of the video, and hopefully then they can go through it in a little bit more detail with you at home. However, if you are feeling secure and happy and feel like you can do this, then let's move on to the next step. So in the next step is for you to figure out what the numerator is. So I'll give you a fraction, so I'll give you the whole fraction, and then I'm going to give you the equivalent fraction, but I'm only going to give you the denominator. It's your job at home to find out the numerator. Think you could do that? So behind me I have got some questions for you to answer. Remember the rule. Whatever you times the bottom by, you must times the top by. So whatever you times the denominator by, you must times the top by. So let's go through these then. So we've got 1/4 this side, we've got 1/4 this side, and we've got something 8ths this side. So let's figure out what we did to 4 to get it to 8. What did we times 4 by to get 8? What did you times 4 by to get 8? 2. 4 times 2 equals 8. Tick. Well done. So what do we need to do to the top then? What do we need to times the top by? Do we need to times it by 7? Do we need to times it by 3? Do we need to times it by 1? We need to times it by 2. Well done, well done. I was just being silly there. So 1 times 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Well done. I'm sure you all got that right at home. I'm going to rub that one out so it's not in our way. Let's move on to this one then. So we've got 1/3 and we've got something 9ths. Okay, so what do we need to times the bottom by to get 9? So what do we need to times 3 by? So 3 times something equals 9. Who's good at their 3 times tables? I'm sure you all are who are watching this. 3 times 3 is 9, so we're timesing by 3. Okay, now we need to do it to the numerator. 1 times 3 is easy peasy 3. Well done if you got that right. If you didn't get all that right, just go back and just double check it. That is absolutely fine. That's what's good about these videos, because even if you make a mistake, you can just pause the video and just go back and just check your answer. The last one, so we've got 1/2 is the same as something 6ths. So same rule, what do we times 2 by to get to 6? 2 times 3, good, equals 6. 2 times 3 equals 6. So what do we need to do to the top? We need to do the same, don't we? So we need to times it by 3. 1 times 3, easy peasy lemon squeezy, is 3. Well done. So with the work that I'm about to give you, you will start to see some different fractions or some fractions that don't have the numerator that is 1, and that is perfectly fine. You're going to be absolutely fine answering them because it is exactly the same method for each and every equivalent fraction. Whatever you do to the bottom, so if you're timesing the bottom by 4, you then need to times the numerator by 4. This is where your multiplication work will come in handy, because you'll be able to recognise the different multiplication facts and you will fly through these, because I'm sure you're all absolutely great at your multiplication. I will insert the sheet for you to try at home just here. Like in all the other videos, section A is where you should start, and then you should work your way through the B questions and the C questions. The questions in box B and C get more challenging as they go on. So challenge yourself to as far as you can go at home. And just like in the other videos, I will put the answers at the start of the next lesson on Monday. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been really helpful, and I will see you tomorrow we've got science tomorrow. See you tomorrow.